Welcome back to the Gadget Spot.
Woo!
Yeah.
I'm here.
2 weeks.
I'm awake.
James is awake. I am shocked. This is like the ghost of James.
Oh my gosh, I love my daughter.
That's good.
I thought you had a son.
No, it's a daughter.
What?
I thought he had a
Do
cat.
I?
Oh, yeah, you did have cats.
Gouda, I think, is going to murder one of us. I thought it was my daughter, but now he's showing preferential treatment. I don't know what to do.
That's too bad.
It's like you've abandoned me.
Well,
Yeah.
if I were a cat, I would side with the most smart person in the room, too.
Listen, there's an unspoken agreement between me and my cats that I have, and it's that if there's a small little thing that's running around my house, it's their job to go get it. Lately, my house has become infested with October bugs because I have a stupid October tree out back of our house.
What are October
You
bugs?
talking about box elder beetles?
Box
Yeah,
elder
box
bugs.
elder bugs.
Box
Same.
elder bugs.
Same here.
And I had an unspoken agreement with them that if they come around the house, they need to get them, and they haven't been doing it. So I don't know what to do.
You're like
'cause
you had a baby and you broke the contract.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we had a. That's it.
Yeah.
They've gotten them every year except for this year.
Yeah. They were like you had
There
a
you go.
baby, and I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, let's go ahead and introduce our panelists. This is the Gadget Spot where we talk about games, tech, and gadgets. And Owen,
And
kick
games.
us off.
Hey everybody, my name's Owen. You can follow me on Twitter at TechNoan. I'm there usually 1 or 2% of the month.
Does your wife call you O Daddy?
No,
Are you more of a lurker on Twitter?
I
or?
totally am. I find the stories very interesting. There's a couple things I'm not very comfortable with, and social media is one of them.
Can we take a photo after we get done here where you go sit in Jarron's, oh my gosh, I almost called you Jason, Jarron's bathroom, and can I have you just open the door a little bit and just peek your
Peek
head
out,
out?
peek
And then
out.
can that be your new Twitter photo?
That's fine. I need that.
Can I call you O Daddy?
Yeah, you can. So I have social anxiety concerning social media,
Oh, okay.
and so I've been recently getting into Reddit.
yeah.
A year ago, a while
you
ago.
recently got into
So a
Reddit?
year ago, James said something that shocked me. He said, "I waste so much time on Reddit."
That shocked you?
That shocked me
Dude, I've
I
been
looked,
on Reddit for like
'cause
6 years.
I know, and so I got on Reddit. I was like, "Well, if James is doing this, then I need to be doing this because that guy is he's my patron saint." So
Oh, okay. He
So-
says as he backpedals from 2 weeks ago that James hasn't forgotten about.
it's okay. We'll get.
What
we'll
was
get
it,
there.
James? Did you forget?
No, we'll
I'll pull it up.
we'll
Yeah,
get
you forgot.
we'll get there. I'll be nice enough, and you'll be nice to me again. You'll remember how much I love you,
This
James.
is getting weird.
Okay. Anyway,
Have you? Yeah. Well,
so I get on. So I've recently, I asked them, you, by them I mean you guys, to teach me how to use Reddit. I was like, hey, do you guys remember that? I was like, I don't get it. Why would you do this? Now I organically figured it out, like all things that I do that I don't care about. And now I waste so much time on there reading through stories and comments that
Wait, waste time, or is this just replacing the time you wasted on cryptocurrency?
no, because if you understand anything about me, I can't stop. I have no stop.
what are your
pedal.
top 5 subreddits? Maybe we should
I don't
just
have
whittle
any.
this.
No,
What?
I don't have any.
What do you mean you don't have any?
I just read everything.
I think it's called a break.
You don't have.
Can we go back to stop pedal?
No, stop pedal's a new thing, and you'll see it on iPhones and Android devices
What's
coming
a
up
stop
soon.
pedal?
You'll see.
Is that like the vibrator?
Look, I don't know.
They don't call him O Daddy for no reason.
Anyway,
I got no stop pedal.
so I've been wasting a lot of time on there just absorbing everything because I can't stop. Because I see a topic, I'm like, that's interesting to me. Why is this? And then I see a topic that has a bunch of votes, and I'm like, why is it interesting to other people?
Well, you know what it's kind of like, to a small extent, is Stumble Upon, if you remember that
Don't give me
website.
another one.
Isn't
No,
that
I
a
think
new
that's
thing?
gone.
Oh, okay.
Stumble Upon was years ago, and I don't even know if it's around anymore.
Stumble
No, it
Upon-
recently went under.
It
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
it
last year.
rebranded it something else. It's not Stumble Upon anymore.
I think
No.
it went
Stumble
under.
Upon
Trip
for,
over?
for anybody that didn't know what it was basically you input what your interests are, and you got a little stumble button at the top. Whoa! It just went to just my right ear.
Yeah,
That's
me
weird.
too.
That was Owen. Just keep
I didn't
going.
do anything.
Thanks a lot. Oh,
It's
there
back.
we go.
It's coming back.
Thanks,
So,
Tony.
Here,
Yeah, you're welcome.
here's the thing: is you hit the Stumble Upon button, it did it again, and it would take you to a web page. Wow, it's weird. Now it's slowly coming back into my left ear.
Okay. Just
So you'd hit the button, and it would take you to a web page, and then it was perpetually like one more page,
Yeah.
and it was only attractive to me at like 11 p.m. at night.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the late night.
That's the Reddit
service.
way.
But it was death on your phone. It did
yeah.
not work on your phone very well.
Well, so I've been on there. And it sucked away all the time I wanted to use for playing video games recently.
So this whole story was about how you haven't played any video games?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Wait, this was a story?
You were going to tell me, the next question, you're gonna, what have you been playing? And I was going to say Reddit.
Oh. Hey, Owen, what have you been playing?
Reddit.
Okay. Jarron.
Hey, this is Jarron. You can find me on Twitter at Jarron. I've been playing games. I got a 2080 Ti since this last podcast. I will review it later on this
How's
episode.
the ray tracing?
I will review it later on this episode.
How is that?
Shut up, guys. I hate you all.
How's the DLSS? How's that?
Whoa.
Anyway.
Left my left ear again.
I regret nothing. I've been playing some games. I've been doing a lot of testing since I have a new video card. So that involves playing a game for 5 minutes, getting out of it, playing another game for 5 minutes, optimizing, getting out of it.
Well, that's what you do when you get a new system.
You just optimize all the games. Hey, that's it right there, whatever that is.
So I got the Humble Bundle for Batman. There's like a bunch of WB games on there. So I got Batman Arkham Knight, and I heard that game ran horribly back in the day. So I tried that out, and most of the time I get straight 60 FPS on ultra settings, but it has some weird things every once in a while, or go down to 40 for no reason
and
at all.
That was the biggest problem is with all the patches they've done, they've just decreased the amount of times it does that. Because even older cards should have been able to run that game really well, but you'd have problems with high quality cards running at 1080p. Running at 1440.
Do you play that with a mouse and keyboard, or do you play it with a controller?
Gamepad. I play any third-person thing with gamepad.
For sure.
But I did actually do some serious playing in that game, and that game is cool.
I know, it's way good.
The graphics are like
Is that your first
crazy
Batman
good.
Arkham game that you've played?
Yes, it is.
What?
Oh, man.
Dude, you got to start at the beginning. You got to go back to
That's
Arkham
what
Asylum.
my brother tells me, and I frankly I don't believe him.
The graphics are just as good, but the first one's my favorite, man. Not the linear story, but the story in it and how everything unfolds.
It's really good.
Yeah, he said
all
the same
Easter
thing.
eggs.
But the game is a lot of fun. There's a lot of upgrades, but you don't feel short-handed at the beginning of the game like many open-world games. It feels like you could kick butt right from the beginning.
Because you're Batman.
Yeah, you're Batman, man.
It's pretty cool. Other than that, nothing really.
The artistic take on that game, I wish that they would just adapt it for movies. Oh, it's so good looking.
Yeah.
The city, the way that the villains look.
The textures are amazing in that game.
Yup.
They're so sharp.
Can you believe it's an Unreal Engine 3 game?
I cannot
Not
believe
Unreal
that.
Engine 4? That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
unreal.
Isn't it?
Engine.
All right, James.
Oh, I'm awake. Okay. What's up, guys? You can catch me on Twitter at JDD Jensen. JDD is for ADD. That's for Owen. And I tweet quite a bit in comparison to my predecessors here.
Yep.
I lurk on those and follow you.
Oh, thank you. I haven't gone on an Owen rampage in a while.
What does that mean?
That means I tweeted Owen a lot.
Oh, you mean a love rampage? Because whenever you tweet at Owen, it's
directly linked to his alcohol consumption.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
Lately, I've been playing a lot of Dead Cells. That game is fun.
I've heard good things about that game.
What's that game like?
It is a game where
It's 2D.
it's 2D side scroller.
Yeah.
It's very, 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 very good looking for what it is.
It's a beat 'em up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And it's basically you go through a level until you die, and then you start over.
Yeah.
And you just keep
I'm out.
collecting the dead cells, and you upgrade your stuff, and you get as far as you can, and you just keep replaying. The cool thing is every time you replay the first level, even though it's the same level, the level changes, like the layout of the level, and it's a really, really fun game. I highly, highly suggest it. And
Nice.
you know what else I highly suggest? Our host, his name is Tony.
Hey, my Twitter handle is at Quad T Tony.
You tweet every now and then.
I do. I've been pretty lax on it lately, just with projects at work and things like that. But things are starting to cool down a little bit finally in the next couple weeks, and I think I can actually.
You had to work a Saturday.
I've had to work several Saturdays.
Oh, I don't know your life very well.
So yeah, game wise, I continue my dabbling with Quake Champions. That's fun.
How much time do you usually put into that game every day?
Recently it hasn't been every day. When it was every day, it was about an hour.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
About an hour a day. Now it's about 2 hours a week ish. and I've been playing Destiny 2 with Uncle Squinky.
Oh, as I refer to it as the abusive ex-boyfriend's
Indeed.
neighbor.
It's really good. I quite enjoy that game.
I want to play that game with you.
Yeah, we'll do it. Load it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
We'll play. You can.
Do you know if any of my Destiny 1 stuff transfers over?
Absolutely none of it.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'll play for sure. And I'm not super high leveled, but I'm much higher than you'll be. So
Probably.
We
I-
can-
I,
we
think
can-
I'm level 8
we
or
can
something.
power level you pretty
Ooh,
quick. I think.
I'd love you to power level me. Whoa.
Huh. So yeah, there's that. But I've been playing quite a bit actually of Spider-Man on PS4.
Still going on that game,
Oh
huh?
man,
Yeah, they're
I'm
mad.
about 7 crime like petty crime stoppings away from 100% on that game for
Nice.
platinum trophy.
Question.
So it is a great game.
In the preview for that game, they showed you like web slinging around the city. I think you're chasing after like
A helicopter.
Is it a helicopter?
Yeah.
And you get on a roof and you're ambushed by a bunch of bad guys, and then
Oh,
he's
that's a
really
different one.
surprised.
That's Electro.
Sure. And he's really surprised by one person. Do you know who that one person is?
I know. I've played the game. I beat it already.
Yeah, but you know who that is?
Yeah.
Can you tell me who that is?
No, I don't want to spoil it.
I decided I'm not going to play games I know I'm going to play in a few months anymore. I did that with God of War. I bought it, I don't know, months ago. I was still playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I've had it for so long, I don't really feel like it's new anymore, and I really don't want to play it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there. It's kind of rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Spider-Man, I'm definitely going to be getting the DLC for that. Really, really good stuff.
How much does that cost?
I think you can get the annual pass. I'm using the air quotes for like $30. I think.
Woo.
Something like that.
It's kind of pricey.
That's three story expansions, so not too bad as far as story expansions go. But I gotta say, like, if God of War hadn't come out this year, Spider-Man would be my game of the year for sure. God of War is just slightly better, if you ask me.
High praise.
Yeah. All right. We got quite a bit of things to talk about. We might have to whittle it down a little bit time-wise, but we'll see. We'll see what we get to. Let's start off with Patreon and emails. So, Jarron, you're our Patreon announcer.
Yes, I am. And Owen is our Patreon describer.
It's a digital thing for donating.
And stuck the landing.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I mean, you're saying the words okay. It's just not very descriptive anymore. So what it is a way to tip us if you like listening to us.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like a digital tip jar.
thanks, Jaron.
So if you like us, go to patreon.com/GadgetSpot.
Yep.
And donate. If you donate $6 or more, we read your name on the air and thank you profusely. So huge shout out and thank you to Adam Hecht, AJ Jasper, Aaron Young, and David Broshinsky. You guys go above and beyond. Aaron Faulkner, Ryan Baker, Ryan McQueen. From Software is better than Naughty Dog. I'm tired of saying that. Adam Foote, Valentine, Kevin Eccles, Derek Allred, Johnny Rios, Spencer Knowlton, Conrad Southworth, Brian Lee, Morty, Austin Beauregard, Roger Allen, Michael Beck, Jeffrey Kale, and Derek Bauer. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Beauregard.
I was waiting
You
for
guys
that.
didn't think I was going to do
I
it.
did. I did.
I totally
I
did
did.
it. You guys do that good.
All right. And we got an email. Just one, right?
Yeah,
just one
just
this time?
one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is a good one. It's I'd say it's timely. You know, it's one of those topics we should probably talk about every once a year at least. And Owen, you want to read that email for us?
Yes, I do. So we have the. This is from Mishmash, and it starts out here. Tony.
Hey.
Actually, it's all in caps with an exclamation, but I just don't have that. I don't have that higher energy right now, so just infer that. Tony.
I would have. I saw this email a little bit ago, and I would have responded to it, but I liked the idea of bringing it up on the show.
So
that's
Geek Show says, "Hey,
Hey,
one of your female listeners here."
yeah, we have one.
I
That-
see your reality and I choose to reject it.
That has nothing to do with the questions,
I think
but
we
I
have
felt
at
I had to
least-
represent.
I feel like we have at least 2.
That's true. We should have at least 2.
So she says that has nothing to do with with my question, but I felt like I had to represent. Good job. Can you remind me which episode you made VPN suggestions on? It's this one, actually. I tried scanning through the descriptions of. I'm just preempting the future because we're going to talk about VPNs in a second, and then it's gonna. We don't have to remind her to go back.
Yeah,
we'll just.
She can just listen to this.
And frankly, we don't remember which one it is.
know.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
the other part.
I scanned the archives a little bit, and I was like,
She said that too. I tried scanning through the descriptions in the list of episodes, but meh. Emailing you guys is so much easier for me than doing my own research. I currently have Sling TV, and my boyfriend wants me to get a VPN so we can watch Jazz games on NBA channels when they are blacked out for locals.
Yep.
Apparently, Root Sports has the local contract. However, I work from home most of the week and sign into my company's VPN. I want to make sure getting my own VPN on top of it won't interfere with anything, and I prefer suggestions from someone who knows what they are doing.
That's Owen.
As you can tell, I know next to nothing about network stuff. P.S. Frodo could have simply walked into Mordor if he had been carrying a ladder.
Now, I've been thinking about this all week. Do you
the VPN part or the Frodo part?
No, the Frodo part.
Oh, I'm more interested in this. Let's have it.
Are you referring to when they get to the big gate and the gate's closing? Is that the part where he could just?
I think
could have
she's
just used the
referring
ladder?
to when they're in
That
outer
sounds-
space and they're dropping.
Okay, you shut up. So,
That sounds right, Jarron.
but
Yeah.
if he uses a ladder, they're going to spot him. They have somebody in the watchtower.
I don't.
Right?
I still don't understand the eagle theory. You heard about that, right? Why the eagles didn't just pick them up and then just drop them?
Well, the Eagles don't want to get involved in the matters of humans and
They went
elves.
and picked him up from the freaking
They
thing.
already
Just
did.
as a favor to Gandalf.
Why didn't Gandalf just call in that favor from the beginning?
Gandalf was deposed.
I think
not
they were-
deposed, disposed.
He was with them the entire time.
literally
No.
took more energy to stop and land and drop them off than it would have just been to continue soaring.
Just
and
drop them
off.
in
plus,
the volcano.
Plus, I think the Eagles.
They're like done.
I don't think the Eagles liked the race, the ring race. 'Cause
Okay.
They had the flying worm dragon thingies.
There's things online about why the
And some really good memes. Oh my gosh.
why the Eagles weren't used. I read a couple of them. It's something to do with they were already doing something at the time.
Yeah,
in Tolkien's
It's not like
timeline
the
or something
Eagles
like
are the slaves of Gandalf. You got to convince them. You got to.
Were they in Hotel California?
that. They might have been. Yep.
All right. Okay.
All right. So VPN.
I hate myself.
So I use a VPN all the time, actually. I pay $34 a year for one called PIA, stands for Private Internet Access. And with the Trump administration coming online and with a lot of the stuff that was happening, VPNs went nuts. You could get free ones, you could get really cheap ones. And what I kind of found out was that you get what you pay for, but PIA, and we're not sponsored by them or anything, but I use them, so I have experience with them. And I tried a couple other VPN providers, and I didn't really like them, so I stuck with PIA. PIA, they were reported on this website called Torrent Freak as one of the top 10, and they list why. They have some canaries. You need to know that, do your own research there, but basically take down canaries. They are not legally allowed to tell you that they're being watched, but if a site goes down because it's been taken down, they don't have to. They will let you know that the site's gone down, and then you infer the rest.
I
Anyway,
don't understand what you're saying.
it's a warning system. They don't keep your data either, and they have indirect methods of pay. If you want to pay with Bitcoin, you could do that.
Nice.
I don't go that far, but so I like PIA. There's a bunch out there. Kind of
What's
compare it.
PIA's website?
PIA
Because I just Google searched it and there's a bunch of like PIA stuff.
stands for Private Internet Access.
Did you just PIA VPN?
Yeah, there's privateinternetaccess.com. Is that them?
Yeah,
Probably that one.
privateinternetaccess.com.
Okay. It looks like they have a fun family riding bicycles.
It's
on their
isn't it
front.
nice? They're like, hey, you will be so safe. So
I don't
I've
know.
used
This looks like something at the beginning of a horror film. Like
Hey.
they're like trying to lure me into a wax museum so they can make human molds out of me.
Not sure they're not at this point, but it's been a good service so far. So, but you get $34 a year and you get to put it on 5 devices concurrently, which is kind of nice.
Including your
because-
phones?
Yep, has a phone app which I have used. That's how I used to get the Mario game that Mario game that came out and it released in like Europe.
Mario Run?
Yeah,
Mario Run. It released in like Australia first or somewhere. You on the app, you click in, you say where you want to connect from. There's a bunch of US sites. The speeds have been pretty cool. PIA is really cool because if you notice it's slow, you can actually report that server and say, hey, this is slow. They don't. A lot of VPNs will limit your bandwidth. I have 250 by 250 at my house, and so that was really important for me not to
get limited.
And PIA doesn't do that. I've tested it, but sometimes just the nature of encryption slows you down. Anyway,
how does that work with games like Pokemon Go?
So you can jump around, and it will.
Well, I mean, Pokemon Go wouldn't work because it uses GPS to know where you're at.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter where
Owen,
you connect
it uses
through.
GPS.
It worked for installs. Like if you regionally, if you couldn't, like for when I went to get Mario Run, I dropped my VPN on, told it I was over in the UK or London. You can choose Russia. Just shut down all theirs. That was really cool. Which is really funny. And PIA actually sent me a notice that said, "Hey, if you're connected to any servers that say Russia, disconnect and download the new app because." Russia said you have to give us all your private keys, and we're not doing that.
Nice.
So PI is really privacy-centric. To answer the other question, will it mess up your work VPN? It will not. I use it. VPN softwares, they create a virtual network card on your device. That's how they operate, and then force all traffic through that network, that virtual device, which is then connected to the...
It's the equivalent of making a new wired connection to their servers, but it's all software.
Yeah,
it's all virtual
private network. So anyway, that being said,
that's what VPN stands for.
That's it. Yep. And it's a tunnel, encrypted traffic.
You're an expert now, James.
Yeah. So I mean, I would go with
Jarron.
that one. There's a bunch of them out there. If PIA doesn't fit your bill.
How do you feel about are we going to go into more depth with other ones, or is this? I
didn't go with any others. I didn't like them.
I've seen a lot of advertisements. Do you know anything about NordVPN?
That's another one that popped up recently. It's being promoted. They've paid for a lot of advertising.
Yeah, Nord's been around for a little while.
Yeah,
because if you go to that, what is it, Torrent Freak?
Yeah,
you can see a list of all the VPNs and see what makes them good or bad.
Yeah,
and so you can just do all your comparison right there. I've looked at a few different ones, and I think Nord came up pretty good. It wasn't like top or anything, but it came up pretty good, and they're fairly cheap too.
Yeah, and they've all dropped their prices to be kind of competitive. So you'll see a lot of promoted ads on websites now.
So basically, from your computer, when you're using it for work, just don't turn on your...
Can't run both.
Yeah, just don't run the VPN that you're paying for and VPN into your work servers. And then when you're done there, just unhook like you normally do and hook into the one you're paying for.
Yep.
And then you'll get your access.
It doesn't cache it or anything, what you're doing when you use your VPN.
No,
right?
that's
so that
the
way
point.
When you turn it off,
that's the whole point, is it doesn't keep any data so that they can't follow it anywhere.
I mean, browser history is going to show, right?
Obviously.
I mean, on your side, because the browser saved it, like you went to jameslovescats.com or whatever.
How did you know that?
Look, I do. So
you don't even have to look through your internet history to know that, James.
Yep. So, but yeah, it's going to save your side, so you have to kind of practice safe habits there. I mean, I don't know why she's talking about wanting to do local television to get around blockades, but for people that are seeking to have anonymity online, that's one of the methods. It can always be tracked back eventually. There are some ways to really make yourself anonymous online, but VPNs just slow it down. They make it more work to find out who you are.
Well, I went to go find what the best VPN is, and then I got bored, so I looked at something else that was more interesting to me. Do you want to venture a guess as to what the most pirated movie this week was?
Yes, I'm
Incredibles 2.
Nope.
Wow, you got it.
Wait.
Right off the bat.
How would you know this?
Just a guess.
Because it's
guess.
recently coming out on
What were you going to guess, Tony?
I was going to say something like Venom, something that's in the theaters right now that's popular.
Nobody does that.
I can't believe you did that so fast. Jeez.
I looked up the same information. Google's everywhere. I keep up on that stuff.
You didn't type anything, though, when I asked
I typed it earlier.
Typed it in his brain. All right, so there you go. There's a brief VPN rundown.
Yeah, check it if you really want to read about them. Go do research on Takedown Canaries, which the Torrent Freak article that I read a year or two ago explains. I think Torrent Freak redoes this
rating system.
They redo this article like once a year. Like what are the best ones? Because so many pop up. So
the top two was NordVPN and then private internet access.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
I like PIA. I like PIA because you can split it between 5.
You know what?
Devices.
I'm signing up for Nord right now.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Big surprise.
That's your impulse
I'm
buy
not
for the show.
doing it.
Wait, we talked about something
I
can spend
like
money on?
I like the app. I like the app. It's got a cell phone app, and if you run a router, you can actually set up. You can get keys to or API calls to set up VPN access on the router, so that all of your traffic in the house would go through a VPN outbound, which is kind of neat. Right now, it's per computer, right? So if I have a laptop, desktop, phone, I all have to turn it on manually. But you can set PIA up on the router so that it
does it by default.
by default.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What have you noticed in your advertisements since doing this? Are they just like general
I get a bunch of
advertisements?
banks and stuff freak out because they're like, you're logging in from
Oh, across
Texas.
the country, yeah.
or Alabama or wherever I've decided to connect the VPN. They're like, are you here? I get a lot of that. I have to remember to turn it off for banks. Constantly the VPN will get flagged because people do malicious stuff, right? From
What?
VPNs. Yeah. I mean, they do malicious stuff from VPNs. And so
They
sometimes,
do malicious stuff from phone booths.
but they'll get, okay.
Maybe they did 15 years ago.
No, they still do. They walk into phone booths with their cell phone and they send some malicious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But so the IP
Like a
address,
meme.
the IP address that they're using could get blacklisted. So I get a bunch of that sometimes. Like the IP address you're connecting from has been blacklisted because it's been linked to notorious stuff. Not that you're doing it, but somebody previously was. And so you just have to remember to turn it off. Sometimes turn off the app, and if you're like going to your bank or whatever, it just makes your life easier.
I'm not going to do it. They make me buy a 2-year plan for the deal that they're doing today,
Just-
and I'm not going to do it.
A lot of places are doing lifetime now.
yeah.
But I just don't see how that can be viable. Like how they can guarantee, like they must be,
Well, then just change the company name 3 years and do it, and then you got to re-up.
yeah. Anyway, I like PIA because they don't have limits. There's no download limits. Like everything after 400 megabytes is, they slow. They no network caps or slowdowns.
Yeah.
So
Throttling. Cool. All right. I got 3 quick stories right here. They all have a common thread. Let's see if you guys can figure it out what it is. Red Dead Redemption 2 reviews
Cowboys.
are very... That's wrong. The reviews are very good for that.
The word red.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes.
Good job, Jarron.
you looked
Did
at
you
the
look
show
ahead?
notes. That was cheating.
That
You
was
gotta-
no fun.
I mean, bad show, Jarron. Bad show.
Oh.
Bad form.
Bad form.
Oh, I love
Run
Hook.
home, Jack.
So, yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is out, and it is garnering a 97% on Metacritic right now.
Those graphics are impressive.
They are quite amazing.
What engine
Yeah.
is it running on?
Rage, Rockstar's Advanced Game Engine. That's what that stands for.
Has there been any other games besides this that?
Yeah, all
it's
the
running on?
GTA games use Rage.
From the beginning, it's been Rage.
Yeah.
What?
From
They just keep iterating on it.
yeah, starting with GTA 4.
Looks a lot better than San Andreas, I can tell you that.
Yeah, from San Andreas, Vice City, and 3. That was they purchased licensing from Renderware to do those. Anyway,
The graphics look, from what I've seen on Digital Foundry, Xbox One X, it's just amazing
It crushes,
all around.
yeah.
All the other platforms, there's some performance issues, but Xbox One X looks amazing.
Yeah, I am definitely going to pick that one up sometime in the near-ish future, but I got too many other games I need to play first. But yeah, it looks amazing. It plays amazing. I mean, when you have a 97% on Metacritic, you know that it's good. What's interesting is I noticed on user reviews on Metacritic for that game, it has like a 67%.
Yeah, are people rage reviewing it?
People just like I don't understand.
Why would they review it
people
so
now.
low?
Like that's what I mean. They figure out something they don't like about it, whether it's actually in the game or not, or whether it has to do with the developer, and they decide to bomb ratings.
Yeah,
as
user
a
score right
result.
now is a 7.6 out of 10.
This is just the culture ever since Last Jedi. I mean, James should know all about rage reviewing things because he didn't like Last Jedi either.
You're
Yeah.
allowed to like it. I'm not one of those bad guys. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
care.
it's interesting to see that, and I'm wondering if it has anything to do with that news that came out about the 100-hour work weeks at Rockstar. Which
All of-
Yeah.
they've backtracked and explained on that numerous times, and you got to decide who you believe, obviously.
So
but
the
whatever.
thing is, if you review bomb it and you don't buy it, now you're punishing the people who did work the 100-hour work weeks.
The same thing right now is happening to Shadow of the Tomb Raider on Steam. I don't know if you saw that. It's getting review bombed on Steam because
Why?
people were pissed that 2 weeks after it released, it went on sale for $45
Oh, come on.
for a week. And they're like, I bought it on day one. Now it's cheaper 2 weeks later.
Well, yeah, that's what happens with
I
games.
feel, I feel
Exactly.
bad about that game. I feel like that game was like trampled.
And
like people didn't
It
give
got
it
lost
a
in the
due.
shuffle.
Like Titanfall 2.
Same
that
thing.
game was amazing.
Yeah, same idea. So hopefully people quit review bombing that game.
It's $40 right now on Steam.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
let's-
tempted to buy it.
And so people, and it's frustrating because that game was developed by a branch of Eidos that does not Crystal Dynamics this time, who did the first two. The company that did it this time is Eidos Montreal, and they made the Deus Ex games, the new recent ones, Mankind Divided and Human Revolution. Fantastic games. But the same thing is happening for some reason with Shadow of the Tomb Raider that did with those two. They're great games, but they just don't sell like they should for some reason.
Well, and I didn't see a lot of marketing put behind.
You're
or
right.
at least
I
I
think
wasn't
you're
the
kinda
target
right
audience.
about that. Yeah. I didn't see a whole ton of marketing push for it, nor for the Deus Ex games before they came out.
Nope.
And that's a shame.
Well, it's
because
hard because we live in a market right now where like if you're not the target demographic, there's a good chance that you just do not see it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It used to be like, oh, it's going to be on TV. It's going to be all these like what's it called? Offline marketing routes that they used to take where you would passively just see it and then it would get you hyped regardless of if you're a guy that's in their 30s
Right.
or a girl that's in their teens, or it doesn't matter, like you're going to see it. But
I don't think Tomb Raider is as big of a brand as Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption.
No, it's not for sure, which is crazy because Tomb Raider's been around way longer than not Spider-Man, but Red Dead.
Yeah,
This
well,
is Red Dead's second game.
The games have always been good, but they've never been like, oh, this is the most amazing game ever.
well, that and, like
until they rebooted it.
Tomb Raider came
I still
out.
think they're just good.
No, they are.
When did
excellent.
they reboot Tomb Raider the first time? Was it 2011 or 13?
Yeah,
13.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about a franchise that just came out with their reboot several years ago, after coming out with several different not as good games. You're talking about Spider-Man. When was the last time that there's been a really good Spider-Man game?
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was
PS2.
2004.
Yeah, back in like 03, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, you got the hype train.
Yeah.
Chugga 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 chugga.
So anyway,
Ching, ching.
it was interesting to see that about Red Dead 2, but I'm definitely gonna pick that one up. It looks amazing. Next Red Hydrogen Phone released
Aw.
by
Wah,
Red
wah.
Cameras. Yeah, The Verge has done a review on it, and I read through that this afternoon.
He
and
gave it a 3.
yeah, it's
Out
not
of what?
10.
10.
It's not
Oh.
good. They said basically it does the stuff that you would expect a smartphone to do, but the stuff that Red has hyped for the last year
Yeah, that
falls totally flat.
turns out the holographic display that I was so excited about.
It's like the 3DS, isn't
It's
it?
exactly like the 3DS.
And The
only they
Verge-
don't do it as well.
I was going to say
Hold
The
on.
Verge said the 3DS is better.
What were you expecting, that it was gonna like you're gonna hold it like this?
No, not flat with it above the. But everyone that's been expecting it, this guy from The Verge included, was expecting to look at it straight on and have it appear to come out of the screen.
Okay, so
Instead of
not the
create
window
depth-
effect.
Yes, instead of create depth behind the screen.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Because when you read holographic, that's what you think.
Exactly.
It's bad branding.
Very bad.
Fake news.
And
They hyped it up way too much, bad branding, and they delayed it.
and they delayed it a bunch.
So now it has a year-old processor in it now.
Yep. Which, I mean, that's still a good processor, but when you're paying $1,300 for a phone, you expect
Yeah.
the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
Right.
Camera performance on it, mediocre, which is funny.
Which is funny because you're thinking about Red. I mean, you're thinking of like the Hunger Games, Deadpool, like all these major Hollywood films that were filmed on these cameras.
Yep. Because the red sensor or the red camera, the red phone, the camera in the red phone isn't a red sensor. It isn't anything related
Well,
to red,
if-
but it has that expansion thing
If you want to,
that you're supposed to be able to use and put an actual red sensor camera on it and use it as
great.
a viewfinder.
if
They
you
don't-
if
but
you
they don't
want,
have it out yet.
if you want to see what
So-
it's like to own a Red camera, which I don't, but I know a couple of filmmakers that do, go to Linus Tech Tips, and he does
Yeah.
a Red review. It's like, oh,
It's
okay.
very interesting.
They're very much into the peripherals, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, proprietary everything.
Yeah, first party everything, including their freaking memory cards.
Yep.
Oh, I hate that.
That's crazy. That's
the only thing I will never forgive Sony for.
Yeah, I was
Their
gonna say
dumb
the same
Vita memory card.
Well, not just
Yep.
that, but I'm sure that when Sony did it, at least MP4s, or did they have a first party?
They could have used micro
File
SD when the Vita came out.
Easily could use
Easily.
micro SD.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, at least Sony, when it recorded, I'm sure it did MP4 or something like that, or MOV files. Red has their own video file.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, their own proprietary codec. Yeah. So anyway, that's
Well, does it improve upon the codec?
Yeah,
Okay, we
but
can't
you
fault
also
them
have
too
to have
much.
something that interprets that codec.
Yeah, that's dumb.
so there's that. Hugely disappointing. And then the other Red-related item. This is a real quick one because this is all enterprise stuff here. But IBM has purchased Red Hat Linux
Wow.
for $34 billion.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, a boatload
That
of
is
money.
Do you think
30
CentOS is going to go away now?
I don't know. That's what everyone's worried about. They're
Yeah.
worried about the main forks of Linux
Yeah.
having issues with their open sourceness.
they
and
can't
everything like
affect the OpenGL license though, right? Like Linux will always be open source in that, right?
that. I believe so, but wasn't most of, or not most of, but maybe I could be completely wrong here, but wasn't a majority of the active development on Linux done on the Red Hat?
Yeah,
OS?
CentOS was that CentOS is the paid version,
Yeah.
I guess, of that. So I guess that's the one where they are, where you do have to pay for support and upgrades,
Yeah.
or for patches, I guess.
So we'll see what happens there. Your day-to-day life as a normal computer user, you probably won't notice a difference at all. But in the enterprise world, this is huge. This was a big deal.
It's gonna be huge.
Huge. Alrighty, let's see. This was an interesting article. I'm glad Owen put it on here about the Pixel 3 and their Qi chargers.
Yeah,
Oh, this is so dumb.
So
This is worse than no. This isn't worse. This is just as bad as Apple.
it really is.
Well,
So-
not in this instance because Apple supports
No,
Qi.
in this
but-
in this specific instance,
Right.
no. But in
It's-
general,
right. It's just what Apple would do.
Yeah.
So what they did is the Qi chargers are an open source thing. Like they're supposed to be units. What do they call it? Standard, right?
Yeah.
So
it's
this is the wireless chargers that all modern phones use.
The Qi standard is this, and you can buy Qi chargers. Anchor sells them
cheap.
for $15 for a 15-watt charger. Okay,
Yeah.
like that's pretty
You
fast.
you can even find them cheaper sometimes.
Yeah, like it's not rocket science to make those, and so.
It's a magnetic coil, and that's pretty much it.
Right. And so people have been complaining. They're like, I bought this new Pixel phone and and I am getting slow 5-watt charging, like normal USB micro level
Yeah,
charging, right?
Not fast.
Not fast. And they do a little research. These guys call Anchor. They're like, hey, your charger is crap and I want my money back. And Anchor's like, what's going on here? And they start doing their own testing and find out that there's a secure handshake done by the Pixel phone
And the charging
and
unit.
the charging unit called the Pixel Stand. That it allows the stand to, when it's on the charger, to
Turns
turn
in-
it into your like a digital photo.
yeah,
whatever.
it turns into a digital photo portrait.
Yeah,
whatever.
like going through your photos, which could be
and
super
you can,
dangerous.
And
but
you can use it as a Google Home a
Yeah,
little bit at
right.
that point.
But they also built into that just a little thing that if you're not using the Pixel Stand, you don't get
Fast
10
charge.
watts. That's it. You don't get rapid charging no matter what you do. That's a software thing, not a hardware thing.
And this charging unit is what, $80?
79, yeah, $80. Okay,
$80.
$80. That's what 5 times the average.
Yep.
And you can get them for cheaper. So it's pretty expensive. And they're trying to push this, and Google confirmed that that's kind of, they're like, we are suggesting that people use the Pixel Stand.
I love there's like not even any shame in
Yeah,
it.
they're
They're
just
just like, yeah, we did that.
They're just like, yeah, what are you
It's
going to
like,
do?
What?
Do you want rapid charging or not?
Problem is, Pixel is not a popular enough
No,
phone for
they-
Google to be able to do this.
They don't have the clout. They don't have the market share. They
No.
to pull something like this. Like when Apple dropped the headphone
Yeah.
jack, it's like they're They have the. At
What are
the
you going
time,
to do?
They
Not
have
buy
majority.
What are
yeah.
you doing? What are you going to do? Not buy the next one?
Exactly.
But Pixel has been running up there. I mean, they've been running a little bit with the fact that they run this naked OS, like no bloatware on top of it, just the standard old,
I don't know if you can call it naked anymore because Google, it's
Yeah.
their specifically
Exactly.
own version of Android now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But they
it's
don't.
considered
they don't.
vanilla.
They don't. Yeah, they don't market it that way. They call it original
Vanilla Android.
Yeah, vanilla Android, like base Android. And so people are like, "Wow, without all the stuff on it." And it is true because I don't think you can buy. Can you buy the Pixel phones through the provider?
Yeah.
Just Verizon.
yeah.
Just Verizon.
Just Verizon.
So most purchases, because when you sell it through provider, the provider gets to load a bunch of stuff on there and
Unless
has
you're Apple.
yeah. Which Apple started that way.
Yeah,
Like when you were on AT&T.
Back in the day, they made a deal with AT&T for part of their exclusivity was AT&T couldn't load any of their crap.
Right.
And then when they branched out to the other carriers, they put the same rules out.
Right.
You can't load any of your garbage apps.
But it's
on
because
Thank goodness.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because everybody's like
Because
I don't want
Apple wanted to load it up with their crap.
Yeah, exactly. And Apple's like, look, what are you gonna do? Not
Our
sell
crap
iPhones?
looks nice though.
Yeah.
Do you remember that first phone that had the iTunes on it? That Motorola whatever.
Yes, the what's it called?
Motorola whatever phone.
I don't remember what it's called.
The
Rocker, ROKR.
I bought that phone.
It had iTunes?
Yes.
Really?
So you could load iTunes music onto it,
I didn't know
I still
this.
remember
and
thinking
it
like,
was kludgy beyond all belief.
Yep. Can
And it
confirm.
was horrible.
I bought that phone because of the name and because of the keyboard on it. Back in the day, that was a really cool keyboard.
I think you're thinking of something else.
No, maybe it's
The Rocker was just a standard T9.
Oh no, then that's not the right phone.
Are you thinking about the Sidekick?
Yes, that's the.
The T-Mobile Sidekick?
No, yeah.
It was the flip up, right?
What was the
slide?
Sega
I thought
Genesis
that was a
one?
G1.
Oh yeah, I had one of those. I had one of those.
So the Sidekick is what Andy Rubin made before he
Hold
went
on.
to Apple
I'm
to
gonna
create
I'm gonna-
Android.
I need to look at this.
The Sidekick was like you knew it was on when somebody like flipped it out. But although when you called somebody on it, you looked kind of
Oh no, I
How
think
it,
I
like,
remember. It
Completely
slipped.
rotated
Yeah,
around the
it
screen.
rotated around a
Yeah,
hinge.
that's
Yeah,
right.
it's cool.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
So yeah, I gotta say, usually I back Google up. Shame on Google.
I know.
for
I
this.
just it's pretty.
Shame on them.
It's one. I hope that the public shaming helps them realize they can just change this. They can
Shame.
fix.
Oh yeah,
this.
it's
This is
it's
just
all software.
Yep.
So Google, you need to figure this out.
Like,
and
I hope it does because the Pixel's not. I mean, it's a great phone, but I mean,
it doesn't
it's-
have market share to pull
no,
a stun off like
no.
this.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Shame.
Ding. Shame.
Shame. We
All
need to
right.
have a shame corner in here. So like when somebody does something bad, like Elon would have been in it for a couple weeks.
Yeah, Google, you're going in the shame
oh,
corner.
I thought you were gonna put me there for how I treated you 2 weeks ago.
No, I just remember.
Oh, okay. You'll just remember.
All right.
He remembers
How are
the
you
pain.
doing? How are you doing that? I thought you were off your medication.
One would think.
So Jarron, we need a review of the 2080 Ti.
So guys, my life is complete. I can die a happy man.
When you do, can I have your 2080 Ti?
No, it's being buried with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or it's a bummer.
Legitimate.
Yeah. It's a cool little thing.
How's RTX on it? Ray trace. How's
We'll
ray tracing?
we'll talk about that. So I'm coming from two 1070s in SLI to a 2080 Ti, and the jump in power is quite noticeable. Now, as Tony has alluded to, there is no ray tracing yet. There is no
How's DLSS?
deep learning super sampling
Oh.
yet, DLSS.
Oh.
I am very, very eager for that to come out. But at this point, I am having fun going through all the games that ran horribly in my old setup
Yeah.
and seeing them run beautifully. So my old cards, my two cards, they had huge problems in No Man's Sky, as well as Rise of the Tomb Raider, hitting full 4K 60 with ultra settings. No Man's Sky for sure was just like completely not even attainable. It would go down to like 8 frames per second at points. But with this, I can reach a full 60 FPS in No Man's Sky.
Nice.
Ultra settings. Rise of the Tomb Raider also runs great now. It's just everything is just so rock solid.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
It is, and it makes me want to upgrade my CPU because I have a 1500X Ryzen.
Wait for next year.
Kind of underpowered, but I overclocked it. It's running stable at 3.8 gigahertz now, so I think that'll last me until next year.
Yeah.
But overall, it's a pricey proposition. But since I'm coming in from an underpowered PC, it kind of made sense because getting one 2080 Ti, I think, is still better than getting two 1080 Ti's.
At this point, I would agree. If you already have two 1080 Ti's, it's not worth an upgrade.
I agree with that.
But if you don't and you want that performance, the 2080 Ti is pretty slick.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I have to, I'm a huge NVIDIA fanboy.
Oh, yes.
Like, I love NVIDIA as much as Jarron loves Apple. But
I don't love Apple as much as you say I do.
Oh, I think you do, though.
Sony.
Okay, whatever.
Okay,
Apple and
yeah.
Sony. But I'm throwing NVIDIA in the shame corner for this. For releasing a product and only talking about this cool stuff that it can do and having none of it available when they release the product.
Yes. If they had some games on DLSS right now, I would give them a break.
If they'd had three games that supported DLSS and ray tracing out the door.
Even DLSS, because ray tracing, I understand, developers have to.
Okay, sure.
They
Why are you
have
giving
to
them a
do
pass?
Ray tracing's harder to put in the game than DLSS is.
But I agree with that. They
it
need to have better support for the stuff that they announce, and it'll come eventually, and whatever. But for me, it makes more sense since I had such an underpowered machine. One thing I did notice: HDR support is a lot better.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So on my 1070s, I would have so much color issues when switching between games that didn't have HDR and games that did. Sometimes the game would just go completely green everywhere. I'd have to go in, disable HDR on my monitor, disable HDR on Windows, and play the game. Everything just works perfectly.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I really appreciate that. Now I don't have to do nearly as much upkeep on my PC to switching between games. But once all the features I can take advantage of, I'll probably rate it a 9 or 10. But at this point, it's been a solid upgrade for me. I'd say an 8.
An 8?
I dock at 2 points because the other stuff's not ready yet.
Wow, I would have docked it 3 or 4, but
well, because you have two 1080 Ti's already.
Okay, all right.
It made sense for me.
All right, pretty cool. I don't get me wrong. I love new technology. I love the new direction they're going with. I just think they pushed it too early.
Yeah,
that's all.
And the Founders Edition that NVIDIA makes themselves, it is. Oh.
So this is the first year they finally did something to make it worth the extra money for the Founders Edition. In the years past, they've had Founders Editions, and it was just a stock, no overclock, no special cooling, no nothing, and they charge you an extra $100 or something. And it's like, what?
To what end? Just for a blower just for blowing out?
Just to have the Founders Edition badge on it.
Weird.
That's all the difference.
Now they've added what? They've added
now
more.
you have a higher quality cooling unit.
Oh, right. That's right.
Overclocked from the factory,
That's right.
better power delivery. It's actually
I did notice the cooler, which is all I really care about.
It's overclocked.
Being the mining part, I only care about the cooling because that's really the only difference when you're previously. I mean, they were all the same card.
Can't you just get a fan that goes?
Sure.
I have those.
No, James.
Oh.
Compared to the Asus cards I had
Darn
previously, it's not the build quality is night and day.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like
sure.
the Asus cards were kind of creaky. It's a solid brick of pure technology.
How's the noise? Is it?
I don't hear a single thing.
Do you hear a fan that goes?
It's definitely quieter than the other fans in my PC, which I can still hear quite well.
What does it sound like?
I can't hear the fan on it at all.
So it sounds like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that was nice.
All right, very cool. 8 out of 10 from Jarron.
Can I rate my phone?
Yes.
Yes. So I got the Apple EXS.
Nope.
XS.
10.
Keep going.
The XS Bit Max.
10S Max.
The XS Max.
XXX Max.
XS Max.
Max.
It's XS to the max.
I'm coming from a 6.
Wow, that's an upgrade.
6 plus.
Holy cow.
It's like I'm in the future.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you go from one to the other how fast you just get used to apps opening. And then all of a sudden you get it and it's like, oh my gosh, maybe I don't want to open this app. It's like I had a little bit of thinking time before, and now I don't have the thinking time because it's right in my face.
I actually understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
So here's the deal. Back up your phone when you do it because, like, the amount of times that I've had to text people and say, new phone, who dis? Is ridiculous.
iCloud should do that automatically. Did you
I have
not do
iCloud turned off because I kind of wanted to nuke my phone a little bit because I had a lot of
that?
settings.
So convenient.
Sure.
You know,
So-
you can just save contacts and not the phone settings and stuff like
Yeah.
that in iCloud.
And
Are you serious with me?
in
Yeah.
iCloud or Gmail
Or
or,
Gmail
whatever
or-
service you
Yeah,
use.
there's several options.
Just lie to
for
me.
that.
Just lie to me sometimes. So here's
Oh,
the deal.
you did the best you could
The
with what you
face
had.
unlocking is amazing.
I love it.
It makes me think like the government doesn't have to come and take our identity. We're willingly giving it up right now.
Yeah, don't you remember that comic when they first announced the 10 last year?
No.
It showed an FBI guy in a uniform staring at his computer watching the Apple keynote. And he's just watching it, and then he smiles in the next frame. In the next frame, he just says, "Thank you, Apple."
Well, to be clear,
Yeah.
the Face ID information is stored on the phone itself. It's not uploaded to the cloud.
Oh, is this connected to the internet? Oh, it's crazy how people have never hacked individual devices.
Hey, I'm just telling you.
Jennifer
I'm just telling you what
Lawrence.
security experts have said for themselves and what Apple says. So.
Why don't you go explain that to all the ladies?
I
from
mean,
the
you
Fappening?
can perpetuate this myth. Just
that
like
phones
all
are
the-
unhackable,
How do you feel? How do you,
and
guys,
that
how do you
bombs
guys?
in space are what?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were we gonna say?
I was gonna say, how do you guys feel about the government being able to just hold your phone up to your face and unlock it?
Yeah, I pulled that on a friend. He got the 10s Max pretty early, and I was like, "Let me see that." And I'm looking at it. He's doing something else, and it's locked. So I just held the phone in front of his face and unlocked it, and then I went back to looking through his phone.
Well, there's two settings.
He stops for a second, looks at me, and goes, "That was pretty slick."
That's genius.
There's two settings with Face Unlock. There's one where it requires attention, so you have to look at it for it to unlock. And then there's the other where
So it's got the girlfriend
you
setting?
don't have to look at it for it to unlock.
What's the default?
It's you have to look at it for
Oh,
it to
okay.
unlock.
I thought
Well,
default.
even then, you hold it up in front of someone's face, you think they're not going to look
Do
at their
you have
phone.
your?
Well,
What
you
do
can
you,
close your eyes. You
Jarron?
won't do it.
Jarron, what do you have
Not
yours
doing
set
it.
to?
Oh, mine's not. Mine is
I don't
not
know
as
where
secure.
the phone's
Okay,
at.
I think that's the. I think what Jarron's is set is the standard, which is
Doesn't matter.
it's fast.
Yeah.
Faster is what they want. I don't-
Well, the standard is most people don't know that option is there, so they're going to keep the attention feature on.
Oh, did you have to go turn that off? You had to go look
Yeah.
for it and turn it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm,
Because
okay,
I'm used
all
to
right.
Windows Hello. You have a Surface Book. I see. I have a Surface Book. Windows Hello has markedly changed my life with putting in my password.
It's so great. Isn't
It's
it?
great, and it's really fast, and I sometimes wonder if it's going to catch it. But I took my glasses off and wore contacts the other day, and it was the worst day I had to work ever because it wouldn't unlock my freaking computer.
So Face ID works with or without glasses.
Yeah, I heard
That's
that.
because the Windows doesn't use the infrared dots.
Yeah, and
To map
Face
the
ID
face.
also
Face ID
works
does.
if you change your hair.
Yeah.
Well, I like it.
Windows
too.
Hello does not.
Right.
I like it because I wore my sunglasses in the car, and then I just hold it up to my face for a second, and it unlocks, and I put it right back down.
Yeah.
But I really like it. The top, I dig how like the entire thing's the screen. Look at how gorgeous that screen is.
It's
But
pretty.
a lot of apps that I play, not including Hearthstone, need to make it so it scales appropriately.
I
Yeah.
hate that after brand new iPhones.
That happens
They always
every
have
time.
to update the apps.
It happens on Android too.
Okay, well, another thing that I noticed is I got the DC Universe, and I've been reading comics, and every now and then, I mean, it's this is obviously like a first world gripe, but like it cuts off a couple of the words if you're doing smart
Sure.
panels.
Yeah.
So why is it always when I talk that the left ear goes out? Is
I
it
think
the
that
same with you
cable's
guys?
bad.
Might need a new
Somewhere-
cable. The
somewhere-
recording's fine though. It's
There
getting
we go.
both on the recording.
But I really like it so far. It's definitely a huge upgrade considering it's kind of their big flagship phone. Although, didn't they just barely come out with a new one that had a bunch of different colors and
yeah,
stuff?
that's the XR.
That's a step
And that
down,
one,
right?
That one released. It is a step down.
Yes.
You're still good.
Yes.
It's only got one camera.
Mine has several.
It's got less RAM, and it uses a
I thought it was the same RAM, isn't
No,
it?
it's got less RAM from
Serious?
what I read. Yeah.
Oh.
It's also got a LCD screen instead of OLED. So some people actually prefer that. Some people don't.
No, I like this one.
But it's. I mean, for all intents and purposes, if you want an iPhone and you're not averse to spending $750, that's a great phone. The XR.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
It's
all
done
the
really,
reviews
really
that I
well.
read said that a lot of people have been pissed that they dropped that one after this one because a lot of people got this one and then they're like, why didn't I just get the other one? But
Well,
because
they announced it.
my work,
Yeah.
Just gotta wait a month.
My,
Come on.
Yeah, but people don't want to
No,
wait.
that's their own fault for
Yeah.
not paying attention.
But
I agree.
my work paid for this one, so I don't really care.
What do you rate it?
With this big of an upgrade, 10 out of 10. I don't have any gripes with it.
Wow.
I mean,
10 for a 10S.
yeah, the one thing that I don't like is part of the app developers. And I'm
If
not
you
gonna
had to
blame
pay
them.
for it, would your rating change?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But the other thing too is I ordered the Apple Watch Series 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, my wife wanted me to get it
Wow, this
for like
guy.
a father present thing.
Nice. Cool.
Because I've been staying up with the baby.
Speaking of phones, the OnePlus 6T looks awesome.
Yeah, I have that in the notes here to talk about because it looks amazing. See, that's one of the interesting comparisons that you look at with Android versus Apple is you have several companies out there in Android that make quality devices that are half the price of the Apple stuff. And it's really interesting to see what they're doing for less money. Apple touted the XR as the affordable iPhone. But it's still $750.
If you would have come
Minimum.
out with that price several years ago and said $750, people would have been like, "No."
They would have been like, "That's the cheap one?"
way."
Well, to be fair, it still is faster, still has a better camera than
Yeah,
the
but
OnePlus.
when
That's
iPhone-
right. That's the trade-off is you still actually get a higher quality phone than a lot of the Android stuff out there.
I was looking at
So
my
it's interesting.
I was looking
But
at my Apple receipts the other day, and my iPhone 4 was like $300. Boom, done.
Well, that was back when you paid only a fraction of the cost because
That
the
doesn't help
carrier
my argument.
the carrier covered the rest.
That doesn't help my argument.
But the OnePlus 6T, it is awesome looking phone.
It's really pretty.
yeah.
It's got a 3,700 milliamp hour battery,
Has a OLED display.
OLED display.
Has a tiny little teardrop notch.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it's the slightest notch I've ever seen, and has a very, very small chin at the bottom.
Yep.
I don't like chins, but this one's small enough where it doesn't really bother me too
right.
much. But it has a passable camera for the price. It has a Snapdragon 845.
Yep.
Enough RAM, has I think six
Is
or
it
eight.
6 or 8? I think you can get 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big battery, enough storage. It's an awesome phone. It's only $550.
Yeah. OnePlus.
$550.
OnePlus is one of those. They were kind of one of the pioneers in flagship specs at a mid-range price.
Yeah.
And they're continuing that trend, even though their price has gone up. I think when the OnePlus
Yeah, it's gone
first
up.
came out,
It's like $300.
it was
isn't
like
it?
$350 or $400.
It doesn't have a headphone jack, doesn't have wireless charging, but if you don't care about those things, this is a great phone.
Yeah. Just for confirmation, earlier, the XS and the XS Max 4 gigs of RAM. The XR is 3. I found it online.
So that's the same amount of RAM as the previous 10.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? Didn't I share that with you? The HTC blockchain phone.
Oh yeah. Let's
you-
talk about that now.
So that phone actually looks pretty cool.
I thought we talked about that last time.
No, I thought we just talked about it
I think
this
we
week.
we talked about it
Oh,
in,
okay.
in Slack.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were
you're
just
right.
chatting about it. So it's called HTC's coming out with. It's called Exodus 1.
Yeah. It's a cool name.
It's a really cool name. So I use which I had this moment where I used the Exodus wallet, and I was like, that's
they did
weird.
a
I
tie-in.
wonder if there's some sort of tie-in there. So let's explain what the HTC phone is. So it is a blockchain phone, and it has a specific partition to keep all of your blockchain
Your wallets.
so they're not accessible outside apps or anything on the phone itself. It's like this little partitioned
It's
area.
a partitioned, encrypted.
Yeah, totally.
You know.
They're billing it as totally secure. But I don't know. I mean, HTC. I'm not super into the phone hardware. Aren't those guys kind of falling apart?
It's a really weird move from them.
right.
So I thought Google purchased a big chunk of them.
They
What happened
did,
with that?
from what I remember as well, but they didn't buy the whole company. So I don't know if this is coming from the Google side or if this is coming from the independent side
It's
of
got to be
HTC.
the independent side.
But yeah,
Makes no sense.
It's weird because HTC more than anything just needs to sell phones and to create this niche
What?
product.
Right.
or
That's
VR.
crazy.
They could sell
or
VR.
VR, yeah,
Right.
because
Which they're already killing it at that sector. Holy moly.
So yeah, this
Literally, it almost killed me.
this blockchain phone has all the flagship specs you would expect.
So yeah, so it's got the Snapdragon 845. That's
Yeah.
the newest processor, right?
That's
6
the-
gigs of RAM,
Yeah,
128 gigabytes of storage, and a 35 milliamp battery. And I mean, it comes with Oreo already, which is cool.
yeah.
I mean, it's not the newest one, right?
It's
Is
not
it
Nougat.
Oreo? Yeah.
Why-
No, Pi. Excuse
Pi.
me.
It's not
Why
Pi.
do
though.
they do that? Why do they roll out operating systems like
because
that?
because doesn't Google allow that or disallow that, or is
But
it
like,
the
why
carrier
wouldn't you want somebody not to have the newest version?
No,
to
so
market?
especially in a specific case like this where it's such a niche device that provides specialty
Right.
software and things like that. Google produces their OS just like Microsoft produces Windows, okay? And then Google releases it, and these companies like Samsung, HTC, Sony that make phones, they put their own twist on the released OS.
They should just not do that.
I agree, 100%.
Have you told
That's
them-
the draw towards
Have
Pixel,
you specifically
Yeah.
told them not to do that, though, guys?
Many-
you have a lot more
many-
pull than I do.
Many people have in the
Yeah.
last 10 years.
And so these companies do it anyway, and so that creates a gap in the release time between Google's release of the OS and HTC's or Samsung.
Because they have to
whatever.
tweak it.
Even though people have specifically asked.
Oh
them
yeah,
not to.
for sure.
And so the
Then
way
why
and-
do we buy Android?
No. You want to know why do we buy Samsung or
Yeah.
HTC instead of Pixel?
Sure.
Because we like their
Well,
hardware.
and that's the problem is that by the time it's taken Samsung or whoever to modify the new update, they're already pushing for a new phone, right? So they're going to use the new OS, Pi, on their new phone instead of like push an upgrade. So that it gets pushed back even more. Like,
But you
2 years.
already had a Pi a couple of years ago that I gave you to put the N64 on. Why are they reusing that old?
Oh, James.
trolling me. I almost took the bait.
I just see how passionate you get, Owen, and I need to just remind you.
Let's just continue on
life
with this
is worth
blockchain
living.
phone because it's the only thing about crypto news that I like right now. So-
Are you serious, or are you gaslighting me right now?
What?
That there's a blockchain phone.
No, this is for real
It's
from
real.
HTC.
It's
Yeah.
an Nexus phone. It's got a 6-inch display. Sorry, and a 16 megapixel dual rear camera.
How many Ethereum does it come standard?
It doesn't come any. But here's the cool thing
This
about
is
it.
interesting.
Here's the cool part. So it's a flagship. It's got 6 gigs of RAM, 120
Sure.
gigs. Anyway, you can only purchase this phone
In
if
Japan.
you use
No.
cryptocurrency.
What?
You can't pay dollars.
you
You
can't-
can't pay yen. You can't pay
Why?
any of that. They
10
only.
people will buy it.
Come on, Jarron.
So
At least
that'll
12.
be
All
Owen
right.
9 times and his
Yeah.
wife once.
So currently the phone is selling for 0.15 Bitcoin, or
Bitcoin.
4.78 Ethereum. Now, James, tell me why that's weird.
Because it's weird. Because
The price of 0.15 Bitcoin is currently what?
$1,295.
Currently $960.
Yep.
You're really close. So what happens if Bitcoin drops to like $1,000?
Then you're
Well,
out.
how much
man.
is 0.15 Bitcoin now?
Dude, I guarantee they're going to adjust the price for what.
But you can also pay for it with Ethereum, which is much more fluid and not linked as high to
Yeah.
Bitcoin, right?
Yeah,
But
because
I'll bet you it updates no matter. Like, they're what. I
I
bet
can't.
you.
They say they're charging 0.15 Bitcoin. So right now, Ethereum is down to like 180. It just dropped like overnight, $20. So now is the
basically
time to buy,
you'd
right?
get a discount if
now
they don't
you'd get it-
change.
right? Because
Interesting.
4.78 Ethereum right now is not as much as it was as of the
Which
threat.
I'll,
is
I'll tell you why they made this phone.
Let's see what Jarron's take is.
There's quite a lag time to create a phone, and
It was hot.
yeah,
A year ago,
It was
right?
hot a year ago,
Yep.
and by the time
Okay.
the phone actually comes out, it's like,
Yep.
oh well,
That's
we're
pretty
doing
for-
it anyway.
Okay,
Pretty
all right.
forward thinking though to add the Snapdragon 845 and the 6 gigs of RAM and stuff. 2 years ago they weren't, or a year and a half ago that wasn't.
I would almost bet. I'd bet real dollars if you opened up the blockchain phone Exodus 1 and HTC's latest phone that has 845 in it, it's the same processor and motherboard.
Yeah,
They just dropped it in there.
they just partitioned off that space and let you pay for it with Ethereum.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool. I don't know why they're doing it, but
It's kind of a neat
it's
idea.
it's like even 8 months ago I would have understood because the hype was still there.
Right.
Now, I mean, most miners you talk to are just sad people.
How often do you talk to minors, Owen?
I am one, and I talk to myself a lot, and I'm sad. And then I talk to a bunch of others.
So where do you go to hang out with minors?
There's a couple Discord apps channels that I'm in.
Yeah, when you
Those
talk,
have got to be the most depressing
They're
channels.
so
ever.
bad. You're not kidding.
Did you guys
Aren't
see
you
the
You're not
afraid
wrong.
that-
You're not wrong. I mean,
Did you guys see the market today?
I lost another. No, this is what it is. Okay,
You
this
gun
is
emoji.
this is- yeah, this is like, well, that's it. You just see, I'm selling my hardware. That's what you see over and over.
Oh,
Can't hang here. Selling my hardware.
so when you're in like these Discord servers and stuff, and you're hanging out with all these minors, do you feel like any of them are catfishing you?
I lurk, so no.
So he never participates.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You don't participate with the minors at all.
No, I mean I take the information because that's why I'm there, but I don't. I don't socialize.
You don't
I find
socialize with the minors.
I find no value in
Oh,
socializing.
okay. That's
Okay,
cool.
we got a Halloween article here. MIT. Did you guys read about this? MIT is doing a thing where on Halloween night you'll be able to log into their website and basically control a person
That's crazy.
via the internet.
That's a bad idea.
This is such a recipe for disaster.
So they
Did you
put
see
up,
what the internet did to the poor Twitter bot?
right?
That just
So the best comparison I saw of this on this article from The Verge on it is it's kind of like when Twitch tries to play Pokemon. Have you ever seen those? Yeah. So,
right. Yeah.
So Twitch will put a Pokemon. Someone will put a code, an emulator of Pokemon on PC that allows people to input commands on Twitch just through the comments, and it will do what the commands say.
Question.
And so this time
Who's the person?
it's one of MIT's.
Is it a boy or a girl?
I don't know.
Because that's going to say a lot.
that's gonna say a
MIT's
lot.
already said for sure that they're not going to allow people to get them to do
Yeah, so they have some
questionable
moral. So they already have
things.
some moral.
They know
stuff.
this
Yeah.
is the internet, though, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
if it was a girl, it's like close off,
Yeah,
off,
they're
off,
not gonna
off,
they're not
close
gonna
off,
allow
off,
that.
off, 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 off.
So, but it is interesting because this feels like something out of the Black Mirror TV show.
And is this just a social experiment?
Yeah, basically, it's a
maybe
social
it is.
experiment.
Maybe it
That's
is an episode of the Black Mirror because
Well-
if you think about it, they're going to introduce an episode of the Black Mirror where you actually can control the ending.
Well, there was. Oh, that's true. They are.
Yup.
But there was an episode, and it's referred to in this article. It's
The-
called Winter something or another. It was the one with John Hamm that was at the beginning of season 4, I think.
Beginning
where-
of season 4 was the Star Trek one.
Oh, so it would have been in
So-
season 3.
Yep.
So
I don't think I saw that one though.
it was really good.
Yeah,
Basically,
but I
John,
like living though. That's
John
the
Hamm.
thing.
John Hamm plays this character who is paid for by people to tell them what to do in their life to live a better day.
Like a dominatrix meets a life coach.
Kind of.
So he
basically,
basically plays them.
He sits there at his computer and watches what they're doing and says, okay, you need to do this or say this if you want a better outcome for what you're going for. The episode revolves around him coaching a guy through a Christmas party to try and hit on women.
Actually, that's kind of interesting.
And it's a very interesting episode. And
Darn
so
you, Black Mirror.
That's what this is kind of like. And so the way this works from what I read is people will say what they want done, and the most requested action will be what the person is supposed to do.
Are they doing this through a paid thing? Because I know you can
I don't
pay
think-
with bits on Twitch now.
It's free, from what I understand. It's a social experiment from MIT.
It's like it's going to have a lot of bananas.
Yeah. So very interesting.
Eggplant.
Eggplant,
A lot
banana,
of lot of eggplants and bananas.
and a peach.
So this,
Would you guys do that? If we set that up, would you guys let somebody control you for
no,
like
not
20
even-
minutes?
No way.
Feels like James would.
I would. Yeah, why not?
You got to give me a dollar amount.
2
Nope.
20.
Wait, to what?
dollars.
Okay, no. Bitcoin, I would have been like,
Maybe.
It's weird
I'm
with
cheap.
currency that we have to like specify with you.
Now this is a really interesting article. I didn't see this before Jarron posted it, but I've always been a big fan of the nano-fiber and things like that are supposed to get us space elevators. This is an idea that I first saw on 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is a really boring movie, by the way. Read the book;
It
it's
is
much
not.
better. The movie?
I liked it.
Oh, I fell asleep 3 times trying to watch it.
What movie are you guys
Like
talking
3
about?
separate times. I
Well,
tried
it
to
depends on
watch
what time of day you watch
it. Now it was in the middle of the day. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's
but-
sleepy time for me.
The book is really good. I really like the book. So this new nano-fiber, tell us about it, Jarron.
So, University in Beijing has developed a nanofiber that they say it's so strong it can help create a space elevator.
Because the biggest problem the space elevator has right now is
The weight.
the weight and the tensile strength connecting the
Well,
top
because
of
if you
it
think
to
about
the
it,
Earth.
it's literally going to be a whatever space station
With
that's
the-
being slingshotted around.
right.
With a
Lots of
tube,
friction on Earth, not a lot of friction in space.
It'll be in geosynchronous orbit, so it's not like it'll be pulling it with the tunnel or the tube, but still, the tensile strength needed is beyond anything we have right now.
So, they say the fiber is 1 cubic centimeter, 1.6 grams, and it could hold 160 elephants.
That's crazy.
1 cubic centimeter?
800 tons.
Okay, so that what
I
that
can't
reminds
wait.
me
I
of.
can't
is-
wait till we weaponize this.
That reminds me of Spider-Man's thread.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Spider-Man's
it's
web. I mean,
absolutely insane. So so to have a space elevator, you need 7 gigapascals of strength, and that's NASA's estimate. This has 80 gigapascals of strength.
yeah, That's 10 times.
Yeah, more.
I know more.
It-
Needs to be at least 3 times.
So it can definitely support the weight that NASA estimates that's needed for a space elevator. And a space elevator is just like Willy Wonka, the second book, the Chocolate Factory, whatever it's called.
And the glass elevator.
Yeah.
The Great Glass Elevator was the second one.
Yep. It can go up to space. So you could ride an elevator that could go up to space.
Now the thing that if you took a step back, you'd realize with Willy Wonka and or Charlie in the Great Glass Elevator or whatever, it was just a rocket. It wasn't actually an elevator.
No, it wasn't.
It was just a spaceship.
It's a rocket.
That book got weird.
Yeah, big time.
Like the first one, yeah, it's a good book. But the second one is like, what was he smoking?
That was super weird.
Is it
Yeah.
like more or less weird than Alice in Wonderland?
Probably less. Lewis Carroll was a freaking crackhead. That guy was
Lewis
crazy.
Carroll was crazy. And when you actually figure out what a Mad Hatter actually is, life-changing.
What?
Isn't it just a guy that was a
Mad as a Hatter?
hatter because he used mercury to cure the leather, so
Yeah.
he was crazy?
Yeah, so it makes him go crazy.
Oh.
So Sony has released a list finally of their retro console.
Oh.
And
Were you
yeah.
excited about the games?
There's 2 games on there I'd play.
Which ones?
And beyond that, I wouldn't play any of them anyway because the thing doesn't come with joysticks on its controller. Stupid.
Yeah.
It's the original.
I don't
yeah,
care.
It is
The original DualShock that was released for that system as well is a
Yeah.
way better controller.
This is kind of a fail.
I
So I was shocked to see one of my weird games on there, but Abe's
Which one?
Odyssey. Did you
Oh,
play
yeah.
that ever?
no.
That was a great game, but it didn't get a lot of hype, and it was one of those weird. Somebody got it for me as a present, and I played it and loved it, and then kind of forgot about it. But the
feels
other ones
like-
I don't really know.
What the heck? It's none of these games are. When you
So
think of
there's-
PlayStation 2, you do not think of
No, this is
any of these.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Or sorry, that's what I meant to say.
And-
PlayStation 1. You don't think of any of these games.
Final
feels like-
Fantasy VII. You got to think of that.
Oh, I
game.
did see. Okay, I
Okay,
did see
that one's like their biggest.
There's
But
this-
where's all the Crash Bandicoot games? There's no CTR.
It feels like you could get a lot of these games elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. The games that to me I look at and like, okay, these are actual classics. Final Fantasy VII for sure.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal for
Grand
sure.
Theft Auto.
No,
You don't
That's,
think
that's
that
the
was-
original.
Not
Yeah.
the first one.
No.
The first one wasn't good.
No.
I don't follow
Top
any of
down.
them.
It was
It was
okay. I mean, it was
weird.
okay for the time, but when you think Grand Theft Auto, it's Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PS2.
I see.
That's what everyone thinks of. Also, Metal Gear Solid.
They don't have a Street Fighter game on here, do they?
So you have Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, which is a Street Fighter puzzle game that got somewhat
Is
big
that like
traction,
Tetris meets like Street Fighter?
kind of, but
Have one or the other. You cannot have both.
Resident Evil Director's Cut.
That was a good
That's
one.
the other one. But this list, and if you want to read the whole list, it's just like I just shake my head reading this.
Okay, here's the whole list. So we have Battle Arena Toshinden.
No
That's
idea.
not a real
Never
thing.
heard of it. Cool Borders 2.
Nope.
I actually played that one.
Snowboarding,
Snowboarding
yeah.
game.
But who thinks of Cool Borders 2 as a
nobody.
classic on
It's
PlayStation?
Cool Borders 1, guys.
Destruction Derby. Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 7.
Okay.
Okay. Grand Theft Auto. Apparently,
And this isn't the new Final Fantasy VII, right?
No,
This is
not the remake. This is the old
This is
one.
the good one. I played the heck out of that game. Intelligent Qube.
Eh,
Jumping Flash.
meh.
Metal Gear Solid.
Classic.
Okay. Dr. Driller.
Mr. Driller.
Mr. Driller. Sorry.
What is this?
Huge
Mr.
difference.
He didn't go to
Mr.
college long enough to be a
Mr.
doctor.
Right, Mr. Driller. Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. I actually
Okay.
like that game. That game's kind of funny. There's farting in it.
That game
it was okay.
was popular enough to get 2 or 3 sequels.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Rayman,
yeah,
Resident. Did you play Rayman?
that was a pretty popular platformer back in the day.
Okay. You
can
It's
get
it's also had like 8 sequels.
And
so-
you can get it on iOS and
Yeah.
a lot of other places.
So it's got no draw for me on this
Right.
system.
Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Yep.
Revelations. Persona.
Yeah.
Ridge Racer Type 4.
Meh.
Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Syphon Filter.
Okay.
Tekken 3.
Syphon Filter's borderline.
When did Tekken take off? Was Tekken 3 the good one?
I have no idea.
Because there's like 40 of those now.
Yeah.
So Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six.
which played
That-
terrible on the PlayStation.
Yeah, that one.
And then
Later iterations.
Twisted Metal and Wild Arms.
problem with the PlayStation, I think, is it's the first generation of 3D games.
Well, and it was actually at first when it came out, it was a 2D system.
Yeah, and,
And
3D was
they-
shoehorned onto it.
3D shoot. Yes, exactly.
And so I don't think it was a very good experience to begin with. Now, Super Nintendo, that was like the second or third generation of, top-down or 2D sprite type games.
Right.
So they really had enough hardware to evolve how,
and
gaming.
show off the art style,
Yeah.
things like that.
This, I don't think so. I don't really care about it. I read that Sony had an issue with because since this was a CD-based system, a lot of developers at the time started putting in real music, and so they had to get licensing for that music, and so Sony had trouble getting licenses.
That makes sense.
That's why
for
some of the
games.
yeah, that's why I heard some of the games were nerfed off here, like were taken off because
You know
they
what?
couldn't get those rights.
You know what game they're missing? Freaking Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh
First
yes,
one.
Oh, yeah.
seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Big time.
I got into Goldfinger through
but
that game.
that would be exactly
Yeah.
what Jarron was talking about.
Yep.
The licensing.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I still want that game.
Also, I need a joystick to play Tony Hawk. I can't
Yeah.
play with a D-pad.
No.
Right.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the first one, you play with that D-pad. Ugh.
Jet Moto was good. I love
Jet
that
Moto
game.
was
I'm
good
excited
too.
to see what the community does. Like, I'd love to see if somebody hacked this and you can, because I like
At that
retro
point, just get a
things.
Raspberry Pi.
Right, exactly, and just do an emulator, right? But I'd be interested to see if this system, the specs wise, could run.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to get a Raspberry Pi that the specs don't do right, or it gets too hot, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what they've got on the inside. I'm interested in a hardware teardown of this system to see like what they've written.
Yep. Continuing with gaming, No Man's Sky is having another big update. This is the game that it's got it's probably the best Cinderella story. Maybe not. What's the word I'm looking for? Comeback. That's the word I'm looking for. It's the best comeback a video game has had in quite a while because it got crapped all over when it first came out with good reason.
It still has performance issues.
Yeah,
on
it
PC.
might still have performance issues, but they've
VSync
added,
is broken on that game.
but they've added so much content to it and made it so much better.
Didn't Boogie do a Francis on that game?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because that was one of the better ones. I think that's when I got into Francis
and Boogie
and
2988.
Boogie 2988.
Yeah. So yeah, this big update. What's it adding on there, Owen?
So it's putting in some swimming levels, some deep sea. Well, it's adding. I don't know if you can already swim, but it's adding in some underwater stuff, and then a couple of story modes. In there,
Oh,
I
look at
guess.
that. It's like, yeah, it's like if you go to their thing on Steam, it's the very first video that pops up.
They're adding a lot of new life underwater. You can
That's
do
cool.
bases underwater. They just kind of hashed out a bunch of underwater exploration.
Are you going to get this game, Jarron, or do you already have this game?
I already have it.
I might actually pick this one up again because
I think
you
it's
gonna
on
pick it
sale
up?
for $24 right now.
Is
If
it?
you pick it up on PC, we should do something on it.
Yeah, you have it too
I don't know.
On PC? I have it on
I don't
PC.
have- Oh, you have it on PC?
Yeah.
James has the ability
because
to impulse buy.
it's got multiplayer now. So
I could play it on my nice computer,
indeed.
considering I haven't really played any high-end games on that yet.
Well, I don't know if I'd call No Man's Sky a high-end game.
But you know what I'm saying. Like, I haven't played.
Burn.
The highest game that I think I've played is either Civilizations or
you know what you need to get?
City Skylines.
You need to get like Wolfenstein 2 on there,
I know.
and you need to
How
get.
much is Wolfenstein 2?
You need to get
that
like,
game was so good.
So good. You need to get like Dishonored 2, Prey. Those are all great games.
Oh, I have such a hard time playing Prey.
It's scary.
It is so scary.
I never thought
I can't do it.
I
It's
never
really
thought
good.
I'd be afraid of a coffee cup.
Yeah, I love that game. That was a really fun play. All right, let's see.
It's $60.
Well, wait for it to go on sale.
It goes on
man.
sale for
Still
like 15.
$60.
Just relax.
Just wait.
Chill out.
Son of a.
Let's see. Was there anything else that we wanted to? We covered that. Oh, this was kind of big news, but once again, not for a while. Microsoft has confirmed that the Xbox Game Pass will be coming to PC, and so it'll be, from what I understand, it'll be the same idea. Basically, like their Play Anywhere stuff. You buy the Game Pass, you have the games on PC and on Xbox.
Yeah, there's
But
the
there's-
Windows Store doesn't have that many good games.
Right. It'll be
though.
interesting to see how they try to flesh it out because as of right now, the catalog isn't that great
Yeah.
as far as what's available on the Windows Store.
I
now the
love
catalog
it.
the catalog on the Xbox is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I love it when Play Anywhere is there for a game. Like,
Yeah.
I bought Shadow of War like last year, and once I got my gaming PC up, I'm like, whoa, I have this game on PC? Awesome.
Yep. So that'll be kind of cool.
Does it link save files?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it does actually. Chances are it'll raise the price from $10 a month to something higher. I would bet money on that, but we don't know for sure. Let's see. What was the other thing? Speaking of Xbox, Microsoft might be making controllers for mobile devices.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool. The designs of them look really neat. I mean, the way they clip on the side of your phone. I've seen other controllers that work like that,
Yeah.
but have Xbox actually releasing one kind of.
Is this an opportunity where we should be thinking Fortnite?
Yeah. Well, the thing is this would apply to the Xbox Anywhere stuff,
Right.
xCloud.
xCloud. Yeah, sorry, xCloud. So it's not like you could buy the controller. At least to my knowledge, maybe you could, and have it work with other apps. I mean, it'd be silly if they didn't include that, but you don't know for sure.
I think it's an interesting concept. I've long thought that for a long time. Like I've looked for those other controllers and played with them. The NVIDIA Shield was kind of that way too, right? Yeah. But I think these will be cool little add-ons. I think seeing the bigger players start to move towards something take a look at least at mobile.
Yeah,
is pretty interesting for sure.
Agreed.
I think xCloud on a phone doesn't make as much sense though.
Well, I think
because you need good Wi-Fi for it to work well.
I was going to say, if you have a good internet connection and a physical controller to play it with, I could get behind that.
What? Then it turns it into like a Switch or something like that?
Basically.
Yeah, I guess it'd be a replacement Switch.
And I like that hopefully it'll drive hardware expectations for your mobile device. You see that when the phone's like, not doing what it should or whatever.
Yeah, but the whole thing about xCloud is the computation is in the cloud. It's on their servers. It's not on the phone itself.
Problem is it would only be a replacement Switch as long as you're in a good Wi-Fi network.
Exactly.
So you can't really take it traveling.
You can't like offline download anything and play it on the go?
No, because the phone isn't doing the actual processing of the game. It's all being done on their servers.
Speaking of which, did you see Stardew Valley's on your phone now?
I did.
That game is good.
I still don't want to play it.
Dang it.
I
liked it.
I want to get it. I just am afraid of addiction.
I played it on Xbox and on another system, Switch, and it's great.
I could actually see myself giving it another shot on my phone.
It takes a little bit to get into.
I can't play that on my PC because
there are too many other good things.
Yeah, there's too much other awesome stuff to play. But on my phone, okay, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I tried to play State of Decay 2. I tried hard, Tony. I really tried, and then it's like I got so many other better things that I could be spending my time on. It's such a waste. It was like the Terminator movie with Christian Bale.
I liked that one.
I like that one too.
Nope.
You get out of here.
I see your reality, and I choose to reject it.
State of Decay 2 was a pretty big disappointment for me.
Also, speaking of which, can I talk about what I wanted to talk about really quick?
Yes.
Okay, so after this, we're going to film something, guys. We're going to film something, and we're going to put it up on Patreon. And if you Patreon people want to see it, go online and check it out in 2 days from when we recorded this.
Wow.
Yep.
Ambitious.
You're really committing yourself here.
You want to know how and
us.
why I can commit this? Is because Adobe just barely dropped a bomb app for your phone. It's called Adobe Premiere Rush, and it is a video editing app that is made for your phone.
Interesting. So
are
you're
we
going
going
to shoot
some? Are we going to shoot some video on
We're
your
going to
10S?
shoot all the video on my phone, and later tonight, when I have my daughter on my chest, I'm going to edit it.
Whoa.
I'm not gonna put it on my computer at all.
That'll be cool to see how that works.
Yep. So
I'm
we got to think of an
skeptical.
idea of something that we're gonna film. I
All
got a
right.
little bit of an idea, but I'm not. I don't want to.
I've got a good Zappy toy that we can do. Oh, I guess.
I threw that away
maybe
accidentally.
tonight's the night.
Yeah. So
I'm not playing.
one
that
other
Zappy
thing. No Zappy. You're the one that
I'll
started
record
this.
you guys.
No,
doing
no.
the Zappy
This goes
toy.
right on your lap, and you get zapped.
Dude, I only
Lap zapped.
Lap zap.
I am not content with only one.
So one other thing I forgot to put on the show notes was my Thrifty 50 for October.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do that real quick because we talked about it earlier. So I picked up the Mega Man 11 game, and I have been playing the crap out of that.
Have you got past the
You
first
liked it?
level?
I've gotten 3 bosses down.
What?
Yeah. So I did.
How many attempt average would you say per level?
You don't even want to know. A lot. Like you get 2 lives per level.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
you have
How
to
much
continue.
time do you spend, generally speaking, per level?
Okay. 3 hours per
See,
level.
I know exactly.
I'm so horrible.
I know exactly what you're talking about, though. On the Spider-Man game, there's these challenges that you can do to earn tokens to unlock stuff, and you have to do some insane timing on these challenges. I probably spent on several of these challenges at least an hour each trying to get these challenges done.
This has some
which
this,
I did.
And the closest thing I can do to like kind of, relate is in Doom. You know how you have those challenges?
Oh,
where you
those
gotta do
rune
certain
trials?
things?
Yeah, the rune
Yeah.
trials.
Oh my gosh, there's one where you got to jump from platform to platform and shoot people just to like reset your timer clock.
Yeah.
That's basically how all
Worst.
the Mega Man game is they throw things at you over pits so that you can fall down. Like that's the whole deal. They're like they have these enemies that are super frustrating that are designed to hit you right as you jump over a pit to knock you down.
How many times do you get to the boss and then that's where you lose?
So I have taken to one of my strategies, because I don't do well in a random fight, like a boss fight. If I get there and I have like 2 health,
Really,
left,
that does not strike me with your personality.
I know. So I found out you can, and like all Mega Mans, you can grind. And so I find a spot in the level somewhere where I can grind and save up some lives and health. And
there you go.
And then I'll proceed. So
I think that explains a lot about you, Owen. Right,
I'm a very
there.
cautious player. I don't like.
You're
losing.
a grinder.
Yeah. Yes,
you got to make them hamburgers. You got to grind it up, pat it out.
I have always been. Anybody in my family that played RPGs with me, like Final Fantasy VII, loved when I would get interested in the game, because I just loved. I loved it.
Did you have a lot of people that wanted to play those video
grinding?
Games? Speaking of grinding, my first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy X-2.
That was your first game?
The very first Final Fantasy. Riku is what drew me in, buddy.
Oh, geez.
3.
My first and only Final Fantasy game was 7.
First one was Final Fantasy, then 2 sucked. 3 was awesome. 7 was amazing.
I threw 7 away.
No?
I got
What?
to the snowy part and got so lost.
I
that
beat
couldn't
Ruby
figure
Weapon.
out.
I beat
threw it
Ruby
away.
Weapon. I beat Emerald Weapon. I ground the crap out of that game.
I
With
wanna
your
play
Knights of the
Final
Round.
Yeah.
I want to play Final Fantasy
Mimic.
VII.
And you people out there know what I'm talking about.
I want to play Final Fantasy VII just so I can relate to everybody else in our generation. Did you ever play Final Fantasy
Just
VII?
wait for the remake they're working on that they
I don't
announced
feel
way too early.
I feel like that. Now, is it as early as the first time they announced the first Incredibles movie? Do you remember how far in advance they did that?
Well, they announced the Final Fantasy VII remake with the launch of PS4, so maybe.
That's been out for like over a year.
PS4?
Yeah.
PS4's been out for like 5 years, dude.
And that's when they announced
That's when they announced
Final
Final Fantasy VII remake.
That's funny.
I got really entrenched with you talking to Owen right there, because it's not often that I see that he's wrong. But you just
Maybe-
let
He
that
meant
wash.
the
over
pro.
you.
Yeah,
I'm
Owen
wrong.
probably meant the pro.
Which you're still wrong.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, he's like a snail.
He's
Come on
turtled-
out, buddy.
He turtled his head
Get
back
on out
in.
here.
I don't care.
Come
enough
on,
about
guys.
this
The sun's
conversation
out.
to
It's totally
continue.
fine.
Anyway, the Mega Man 11 is a fantastic game. If you liked Mega Man.
Kinda-
You rated it last episode. What did you rate it? I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
don't remember. I think I had to give it like a 7.
So what is it at right now?
Go fact check me. I don't care.
7?
It's still a 7.
You said it's
I thought you-
great, but you give it a 7?
Yeah, because it's just
'Cause
the
it's
same.
frustrating?
It's
Hold
just
on,
copy and paste.
What's
Okay.
the gold
All right.
standard? What's 10 out of 10 for you as far as video games? What's the best video game you've
Final
ever
Fantasy
played?
VII.
I don't have one. I don't play enough to have a gold standard.
But you have played before, though.
Halo, I
I
guess.
was gonna
Halo
say-
4. Halo 4.
There it
I
is.
mean, that's what you're
Halo
gonna,
4?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, Halo 5 sucked, but Halo 3 and Halo 4 were fantastic games.
Agreed.
I would say Halo 3 more than 4. I'll go that.
I can
I'll say
agree
that.
with that.
So, but yeah. So I mean, I'd pick it up. I got it for $30, and it was worth it. If you liked Mega Man, if you didn't like the frustration
Which
of being
is-
pit knocked,
Yeah.
then
$30
don't do it.
$30 is an appropriately priced game.
Yeah.
After having Mario Party, Super Mario Party for as long as I've had it, it is not a $60 game.
Nintendo has a problem with that.
Yeah.
Splatoon 2,
Yeah.
Mario
The
Party, the
ARMS?
latest one, ARMS.
Their marketing department deserves a raise because I get sucked in every GD time.
What was that stupid 1, 2, 3 Switch?
Yeah.
I think they only
Which
charged.
is still
I think they only
$40.
charged $40 for
No,
that.
no, no.
Still.
I want to say that one was $60 when it first came
I don't
out.
think so.
But then other games are well worth the money, like
That's the thing.
Zelda,
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey.
those are $60
Well, what's
games
another $60
easily.
game besides those two?
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8.
But
for
that's
sure.
a re-release of a Wii U game.
Fantastic game though, with tons of tracks and tons
It is
of players.
Not
Yeah.
worth $60.
and,
That is
I,
an easy $40 game.
I would go out on a limb, and I feel it's a pretty strong limb, and say Smash Ultimate Smash is
Oh,
yeah.
a
I can agree
$60
with that.
game. So
When does Let's Go Eevee Pikachu drop? Isn't it November 6th?
I think it's
Soon.
November soon.
I am
That's the
really
date.
excited for that game.
The date is November soon.
James, I have a funny question for you. Have you ever heard of Amazon Go?
You're gonna make fun of me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, have you ever heard of Amazon Go? That
Yeah.
seems like a store built for you.
No. What's Amazon Go?
It's where you
no,
just
I
walk
don't
in-
want to know what Amazon Go is.
You just walk into.
I
It's
really
their-
don't want to know what
it's
it is.
It's their brick and mortar, and you just walk in, take stuff off the shelf, then walk out.
That is not a real thing.
It's a real thing.
That's a real thing. Can you believe that? I'm going to try it out.
You walk in, you pick up what you want, and you walk out, and it has NFC
That's
or
called
whatever.
shoplifting,
no,
sir.
it automatically debits your Amazon account when you walk out.
How
What if
crazy
I'm
is
not
it?
logged into my Amazon account?
I don't know, but they have sensors watching you.
What if I leave my phone on the outside? Is it the face detection thing that
don't
Jarron
know.
was barely selling at me that
Do they
that
not-
it's just on my phone?
I forget though. Does it debit it on the way out, or does it have a line that you have to check your items
no,
in?
I thought no. It said you walk out. So I put it on the show notes because I was going to ask you guys a question if you've ever been in it because
No.
there's a couple stores.
Where's the closest one?
So they're just
San
opening up in San
Francisco?
Francisco, but they've had one in Chicago for a while.
Yeah.
for a
Why
little
would
bit.
we have gone to that one in San
I don't
Francisco?
know.
I've been to
Dude,
San
I don't
Francisco.
know.
Far, it is so
Dude,
far
you
away.
went to Japan. How
I
much farther is that?
Hate San Francisco.
I went to San
You do?
Francisco twice this year.
Yeah.
I do. Oh,
Boom.
did you go?
No, I didn't go.
Well, then
It wasn't open then.
It wasn't.
I hate San Francisco.
Why?
I said it. I hate it. I
Dude,
hate it.
I
I
found
like it.
something out about San Francisco.
San Diego is the only good city in California that I've been to in recent memory.
There is an app out there that rates a city based on the human fecal amount.
Oh, then
Like in
San
the
Francisco
air?
takes
San
that,
Francisco is
circle
the
it,
poop
put a
king.
smiley face next to
Is
it.
the human feces king
Serious?
of the country.
Yeah, they are having a major issue
I
right
must have access to this website.
so you can
Yeah.
avoid.
Yes.
so you can
This-
see what Salt Lake
This will
City's-
introduce a whole new paranoia into my life.
now. The first
I
time
can't travel to a city that
Don't give Jarron the name of that app.
I don't
Do
remember.
not.
I don't know what it is. I just was wondering because they're opening up in San Francisco and I want to try it out, but I wonder if you guys had ever been.
the
in.
first time my wife had ever witnessed another human defecating, San Francisco.
Really, just
Yep.
watched them pinch a loaf right there on the freaking.
It
sidewalk.
wasn't hard to miss.
Mine was Honduras. It wasn't in
Third world
America.
country
Yeah,
though. I
you'd
mean, I
expect it a little
I mean,
bit.
this is like how can that juxtaposition happen where you have the tech mecca of the
You're about to answer it for yourself.
West
Go ahead.
Coast.
West Coast,
Uh-huh.
and then also
It's because
people
nobody can
crapping on
afford
the
to live
road.
there, but they have like nostalgic memories and a lot of
Right,
mental
like
health
I
issues.
almost was rich. I'm just going to poop on the sidewalk now.
Dude, there is so much poop there.
I have my place where I work. We have an office out in San Francisco, and they are constantly having issues with somebody crapping on their back porch.
Seriously.
Yeah, and they're like, "Watch out! The guy was back. He's
Oh my god.
There's human feces on the back porch.
That is crazy.
So-
I want to be able to live a life that makes it so if I say something like that, watch out, there's a guy pooping on your porch, seems completely normal.
You want to live that life?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
No, you don't.
I wish to see your
No, because
reality.
it would make me, I don't know, less anal about things like this, you know?
Jarron,
It
would
would
make
just
you
be a
more.
normal event.
if
Jarron,
somebody,
you would turn into Howard Hughes and walk around the house with inch-long fingernails and your shoes in your feet in Kleenex boxes,
Peeing into
afraid,
mason jars.
afraid from the germs.
question, Jarron, if somebody in your house was throwing up all the time, how would you feel about those germs?
I've lived through this in the last 24 hours, in fact.
I didn't want to out you, but
So, the Amazon Go, you have to. It looks like subway doors. I'm looking at the picture. You have to scan a
Oh.
QR code to get in.
Oh.
so I
Okay.
do have to
And-
take my phone out of my pocket.
And you do, and they have security guards. It looks like
So
makes
people
sense.
people to bother
people
me.
standing around, being like, because this is a good point. What if I just walk
Leave
in
your
and
phone at home.
be like, it charged my Amazon account, and just walk out?
I also read too
Hmm.
that they're only going to carry items from Amazon that have 4 stars or better.
That's nice.
So they're supposed to be all the higher quality.
So I walk in with a gaggle of my friends. We all 3 start. We walk out with a bunch of free
I was
products.
going to say gaggle. You don't have a gaggle worth of friends.
I'm reproducing my own friends, okay?
So you're up to
Mate,
1.
I'm breathing.
It's like I'm living in happy froofy land.
And that's only good until she starts to think for herself.
Yeah, once they can choose.
Man.
she can't get away from me. I'm one of the 2 big people that look after her.
And give her a bottle. You feed her.
The amount that she tries to suck on my shoulder, she doesn't know I don't got no
No.
nipple up there. My wife, I feel so bad with my worthless nipples laying in bed. Gosh dang it.
Your words, not mine.
You have 3 friends. They were sitting right here. You have at least
Mom?
3.
Dad-ish?
No.
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 I actually,
All right.
funny sad story. I actually contacted my would-be birth dad, the only guy that's left that could be my birth dad this week, and he said, nope. I want to talk to you.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Did
how
you
does
ask-
that make you
Did you
feel?
say, hey, I just want my medical history?
No, he's
You
just
jerk.
like, I see your reality and I choose to reject it. Not in those good of words, but he's just like, nope.
Tell him it doesn't
there's
matter
no way.
because probably you can get
And I'm
his-
like, look at all this evidence that I have in DNA and all
Is
this
he
stuff.
a failure in life?
To me, he is.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I want
That's
you
all
to
that
prove
matters.
to him how bad of a failure he is and how much better you are than he is.
Man,
That's already set.
why aren't you a
Look at him.
life coach?
Look
Look,
at that.
when you're being positive, you like bolster me up and turn me into a different person. You're like a white Miyagi.
How's he gonna hack you down if he doesn't build you up first, though? I mean, that's
That's
Dang
what
it,
I.
Tony.
Part of the
That's what I.
process.
That's what I'm still in trouble for is saying that.
yeah.
So you just see everybody's doing it, James.
You can't just say everybody's doing it. That's
You're
like every after school special with the smokes.
I think.
What's he
that's-
got over there? The smokes. He's got the smokes. You want one?
I'm still in trouble for saying the same thing that Tony just said. I just want to point that out.
Hey, just a quick heads up. When you go take that Ancestry.com DNA test and everything points to that one person, they could say nope.
Just
could
here's
say
what you do:
no.
you go contact them and say, "Hey, don't worry. I'll just ask Ancestry for your medical history." Ancestry.com will have that.
Ancestry
I need
won't
to
give
send
it to
somebody.
Oh
you.
yes, they will.
Really? No, they
No,
won't.
No, they won't.
I need to send somebody over there and poop on their back porch, man. Hey, you know what? I know what I want to do for my Thrifty 50. I want to research glitter bombs and glitter bomb the poop out of somebody.
They stopped doing that. They stopped making those.
Nope, they still make them. I ordered one for my boss last week.
Oh, jeez. All right. I think we're done for the day.
It's not so much a bomb; is it a glob?
Oh,
Glitter glob.
We've discussed some hard hitting topics here.
Indeed.
Poop,
Indeed we have.
glitter,
Friends.
parentage.
Yep.
Lineage,
Yes.
lack thereof, weak seed.
Things that start with red.
Oh, and I took my freaking allergy test this
And
week.
nipples.
Did you see that post that I made?
I missed it.
Yeah, I freaking did my
Are
allergy
you allergic
testing.
to everything?
Everything outside.
Yeah.
I have
Welcome
a new
to-
reason why not to go camping.
Welcome to my life. I take 2 kinds of allergy medicine every day.
so
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What do you take?
Allertec, which is Zyrtec,
Uh-huh.
and a nose spray called Nasacort.
Does it not make you sleepy?
No, I don't think so.
Does the snow stuff make you sneezy?
No, it's the best thing I've ever found.
Technology.
It
So-
takes care of my allergies so
yeah,
well.
I'm afraid of, or I'm allergic to like Trevor grass and like and sagebrush and beer.
All right.
Yep.
So I just looked up the name of that app for the poop because I thought
What's it called? Defunct?
Snap crap.
Snap crap.
Instead of
What?
Snapchat, it's Snap Crap.
Snap crap app invites San Francisco residents to report poop on the city streets.
You know, I was reading a story about that.
This is like Waze, but for poop.
San Francisco is like reenacting what they did back in like the early 1900s with cleaning up New York City streets because of all the fecal.
They're using technology that they create themselves to fix their own problems.
No, actually, did you see the other day though? There was an article about how they're proposing a new tax on companies in San Francisco. They're taxing them 0.5% of their overall like revenue or something like this to help with the homeless population. Did you guys see that?
That's the whole point of this. Is the homeless population is what's.
It's crazy.
I
high
hope.
in
I
San
assume that the
Francisco.
people pooping on the sidewalk are homeless.
I would think
that
so
be
as
que-
well.
Would that be
well, that and Zuck.
so? Snap crap will actually automatically deliver a report to the 311 to this. That's where you call
like the sanitation department?
the hotline. Yeah, it will automatically.
All I'm saying is, if you were walking by and Zuck dropped trow,
I would take a
pooped,
picture.
looked at you,
Yeah.
and then threw a wad of cash and said, "Pick it up, boy," what would you do?
I would take a picture and not pick it up.
If he threw cash at you,
I don't
though?
care.
He didn't
It's
wipe,
got
he didn't
poop
wipe
on it.
his butt with the cash.
What if it
If
was
he's
like
pooping on the streets, I doubt he washes his hands.
Would you like
That's a
pick it
good
up? With
point.
would you? I would take off my shirt and pick up the money, like with my shirt.
How much money are we talking?
Yeah,
I'd say like 10 G's.
easily.
10 grand. I would pick that up and run it through my washing machine.
That's money laundering right there.
Oh, we got to end on that joke. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. Owen, take us out.
We hope you care.
Gadget Spot.